Before I answer your question, there's one thing that I missed out by talking about is about crisis management and how to deal with crisis management. Typically, in all my roles earlier, especially in the last 20 years, I've looked at issues management, Smita, and not looked at crisis, because obviously crisis can come up any point of time. Typically, it'll come always on a weekend when you had a hard week and you just want to relax and have a morning massage, and that is the time when the crisis will hit you. But by and large, if you can map the risk areas, the vulnerability areas to which there could be an impact on your company's businesses or reputation. So I'm sure as a journalist for so many years and times, you know what I'm talking about. But very seldom the corporate communication people or the agency people don't look at the risk areas. They think it's the job of the CFO or the job of the chairman and the apex to look at the vulnerability and say, look, I will manage it. But the red flags come in from the reputation point of view. So if any leak here or any leak there, and I'm sure you being a journalist earlier, that one little news that will go out, it'll multiply. And in today's world, it'll multiply not 10 times, it'll multiply 100 alpha times, right? Because social media and all of that. So one thing that I've successfully done, by and large, and you can't really win all the battles, is if you can cover save your butt on this 80% of the risk factor, including the pandemic. And why I'm saying is pandemic, because we work in Australia a lot, and we have got a lot of stuff coming in from China. We got a lot of stuff coming in from South America. We always said that in case if there is any force majeure that might happen, in these, so one is fire, one is IT, somebody's hacking it, one is saying that, look, if I don't have my governance model in place, I might fall flat in the eyes of the rating agencies, for example, right? So these are all risk factors. If I go to Myanmar, will I be hit on my image? So all that stuff will be risk factors that are list down 10, 20, 25. We have these monthly meetings with all the senior people, including the group CFO, the corporate affairs guys, the legal guys, the chairman, the CEOs of the business, every month, and we review these risk factors. And how do you mitigate and how do you close the gap and say, if this hits you, what would be your reaction and how prepared are you? Right? So this is one thing. So I focus on issues management. Specifically with crisis on COVID, I think we knew right from December this is coming up, right? We took it very, 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 very lightly. I think we are sheer lucky. I'm a great fan of the Prime Minister Modi, great fan of him. I'm a very apolitical person, but I must tell you that I think not just Modi, but a lot of chief ministers, which are non-BJP guys, also have taken a call, like Maharashtra government. If you see, look at Punjab, look at Haryana, look at Kerala, the way they have acted in locking down the country has helped us. And I think we're also very lucky because, as Indians, our immune systems are so strong with all the antiviral drugs that we've had right from the time we were born, right? Whether it is anti-malarial or antiviral drugs, that has helped us to not have so many big numbers. From a direct question as to what's the government done, I think in a country with 125 crore people, out of which 80 crores are literally on a daily wages, on a day-to-day basis, including the farmers. I'm talking about small farmers having 1 acre plus, and the autos and the maids and the ward boys, etc. I think that 80 crore people are so far surviving. There could be issues in a country of our size and the hunger that we've got here, but the kind of packages that they've released, the amount of NGOs and community work that is happening in delivering food on a day-to-day basis, the governments opened up their PDS systems. I think so far so good. If these numbers become bad, which I think we are just about going to flatten the curve, but the next 4-5 days are important. If we can go through the next 5 or 7 days, I think we'll be okay. But if this explodes from here, then I think we'll have social unrest. We will have problems. We will have people on the road. There could be looting, there could be arson, because typically in developed markets, this is what happens when you see that I don't get my right? So going forward, I think the only way what he could do is to make sure that there's a lockdown, ensure that we've started some testing. We're very late in testing because, it's a poor country and we were not prepared. But we just got the kits yesterday, and I think they've started rapid testing. So they're doing the best in the circumstances. It's easier in the US, but look at where US has gone. It's very easy in Europe, but look at where Europe has gone, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I know of people, my friends, batchmates who are in Spain and Italy, and they are literally, I can't see them on a video call because I can see them crying, I can see them nervous, and they think that the end is near. That situation, touch wood, we don't have it here. It's just a little bit of a logistics and the hunger part that you take care of.
Thank you.